بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه ومن والاه. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. ولقد همت به وهم بها لولا أن رأى برهان ربه كذلك لنصرف عنه السوء والفحشاء إنه من عبادنا المخلصين. وقال النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم: عفوا عن نساء الناس تعف نساؤكم وبروا آباءكم تبركم أبناؤكم، أو كما قال عليه الصلاة والسلام. اللهم صل على محمد في أول كلامنا، اللهم صل على محمد في أوسط كلامنا، اللهم صل على محمد في آخر كلامنا. Allah has given us the beautiful religion of Islam, which has come into this world to give us freedom, not to take our freedom away from us. It is a deen, it is a religion of enjoyment, a religion which we can enjoy not only in this world, but we can also enjoy the Jannah as well, in the Akhirah. But we need to do what Allah wants us in this world, so that Allah will give us what we want in Jannah. So Allah has given us the beautiful way of Islam. The topic which has been given, relationships, how to deal with them. Allah has made human such that his heart lingers with something. His heart falls in love with something. His heart yearns for something. His heart sticks to something. And this is nature. Something he has to fall in love with. And the beautiful or the most intelligent person is the one who, rather than falling in love with things, he falls in love with the creator of things. Rather than falling in love with the beauties, he falls in love with the beautifier of the beauties. Rather than falling in love with the sweet things in the world, he falls in love with the sweetener of the sweet things. So, we have two things here. We are living in a society where daily we have to live amongst people or among such a society which has become so immoral, so nude, that it becomes very difficult for a person who wishes to live a life of piety to live a proper life. Now what should we do? How should we live? So it all starts off with a look. It all starts off with a look. You look at something who you shouldn't be looking at, something of the opposite gender, and the same way it is immoral, it is unlawful for a male to look at a strange female, same way it is unlawful for a female to look at a strange male. Allah has specifically mentioned both of them in the Quran. قُلْ لِلْمُؤْمِنِينَ يَغُضُّوا مِنْ أَبْصَارِهِمْ. And then specifically Allah specially mentions in the next verse the same commandment to the females, قُلْ لِلْمُؤْمِنَاتِ يَغْضُضْنَ مِنْ أَبْصَارِهِنْ. Nabi Kareem sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said to Ali, O Ali, لَا تَتْبِعُ النَّظْرَةَ النَّظْرَةَ. Don't look at things you're not supposed to be looking at. People of the opposite gender, strange people. Because if you look, then you will be held accountable for it on the day of Qiyamah. If it's mistake, then it's fine. But if it goes beyond the limit. So the verse which I recited before you was the verse from Surah Yusuf, which Allah mentions regarding the incident of Yusuf alayhi salam. Allah has given him a lot of beauty. It comes in narration, he was given half of the beauty of the world. And we all know the incident. The minister's wife fell in love with him, and she started to seduce him. So when she locked all the doors, and then in order to motivate him, in order to turn him towards her, she started mentioning all the qualities of Yusuf alayhi salam. She started saying, "Oh Yusuf, how beautiful are your eyes. Oh Yusuf, how beautiful is your hair. Oh Yusuf, how beautiful is your look." Yusuf alayhi salam immediately started remembering the bigger picture of things. He started saying, "If I die, and when I am buried inside the soil, then these eyes will not be of beauty anymore. This hair will not be of this nature anymore." At that critical junction, he's remembering death. He's remembering his grave. For any person to turn away from any sin, any evil, any immoral, is at that moment in time, remember your death, remember your grave. By Allah, you will never be able to go into that disobedience of Allah. If at that moment, when you're about to commit that sin, you think that this could be the last moment of my life, I cannot die doing this. Otherwise, if I die doing this, I will be resurrected on the day of Qiyamah doing this action. And I cannot face Allah in this way. Let me leave the action. But today, the only reason we go into these actions is because we have forgotten this. Yusuf alayhi salam, Allah says, كَذَلِكَ لِنَصْرِفَ عَنْهُ السُّوءَ وَالْفَحْشَاءَ. We actually turned immorality, we actually turned away this disobedience away from him. Allah said, we turned it away from him. And then Allah says, this is not only for Yusuf. Every person who is mukhlisin, or in another qira'ah, mukhlasin, every person who is sincere in his obedience to Allah, any person who becomes just chosen one of Allah, Allah will turn immorality away from him. That is why one dua which I always like to make, and I would like to tell others to make as well. Allahumma sarif anni as-su'a wal-fahsha kama sarafta an 'abdika an nabiyyika Yusuf waj'alni min al-mukhlisin waj'alni min al-mukhlasin. Oh Allah, like the way you turn immorality, you turn nudity, you turn evil away from Yusuf, turn it away from me. So it all starts off with a gaze. And if at that moment in time, we look after our gaze, then Allah will give us the sweetness of Iman. Today we have said we are Muslims, we claim we are Muslims, we act we are Muslims. The world remembers us like Muslims, but have we tasted the sweetness of Iman? Halawat al-Iman, have we tasted it? Nabi Kareem sallallahu alayhi wa sallam says, a person, he saves himself from haram. A person, he saves himself from looking at things which he shouldn't be looking at. At that moment in time, shaitan will make him feel as if you've missed the chance. You could have just enjoyed it at that time, and you could have done tawbah later on. Allah is the most Ghafur Rahim. Like the brothers of Yusuf alayhi salam said, وَتَكُونُوا مِن بَعْدِهِ قَوْمًا صَالِحِينَ. You can do whatever you want now. Tomorrow you become a very pious person. Tomorrow you can make tawbah and you will be one of the pious people in the world. That is the plot of shaitan. At that junction, when a person is about to commit the sin, he gives him the false notion that you've got a long life to go. But Allah says, at that moment, remember death. Death could be just the next second away. So, at that moment in time, when a person feels that I've missed a chance, Allah will give him the sweetness of Iman which he will feel in his heart. The ulama, they write, Mullah Ali Qari rahimahullah, he writes, that when we have read in the narration that when the sweetness goes inside the heart of a person, it never comes out. When it goes inside the heart, it doesn't come out ever. Which is a proof that this person will die with that sweetness of Iman in his heart. He will die with Iman. He will be resurrected on the day of Qiyamah with Iman. Now, a person, he looks at the wrong things, then he tries to go forward in the relationship. So now they go out together, and they try to build a relationship, and then they go out together, they go places together, they go out to eat together, and they think it's normal. Like the incident of Layla, Majnoon. Majnoon literally means the person who's lost it. He's lost his intellect. But he had fallen in love with Layla. You know the incident, if you have heard it sometime, the school people, they try to copy it in the form of Romeo and Juliet. Allah knows how was the comparison. But he actually fell in love with her, and he used to read couplets. أمر على الديار ديار ليلى أقبل ذا الجدار وذا الجدار وما حب الديار شغفن قلبي ولكن حب من سكن الديار وهل تبكين ليلى إذا مت قبلها وقام على قبرها نساء النوائح. And the couplets continue. He's kissing the walls where Layla used to live. He's kissing the floor where Layla used to live. He's kissing the dog that went past the street of Layla. Now people are saying, are you okay? Are you okay? What are you doing? Today we enjoy kissing people who we shouldn't be kissing. May Allah forgive. We enjoy kissing people of the opposite gender. And the people who we should be kissing, our mothers, our parents, our lawful wife which Allah has given, do we enjoy it? So the relationship continues. They're going out together until they come to a stage where they become into the actual action of fornication. May Allah forgive. It all starts off by looking. Like one Imam in US, he actually was mentioning that he received a phone call maybe 1:32 in the morning. The Imams, they could receive phone calls anytime. Nobody will have the courage to phone a doctor at that time, because they know that I don't want to disturb the doctor. But they don't mind phoning the Imam anytime. They say he's there for me. What else has he got to do? As if the Imam doesn't have another life to live also. So somebody is phoning him 1:32 in the morning and telling him, oh Imam, I have been going out with this strange person from the opposite gender, and we have really been out together for a while now, and now we are about to commit the act of fornication, but we are feeling guilty that what we are doing is wrong. Can you just do our nikah over the phone? We both accept it, everything is over, so we don't feel guilty. Now the Imam says, what do you think this is, 7-Eleven? Doing nikah over the phone in the middle of the night. That is the main time to fear Allah. That is the main time to become the wali of Allah. Let me give you two incidents. One is the story of Bukhari, which we have heard many times. The three people, they got locked up in a cave. Now there was no way out of it. So one of the person, now they all started making dua. They all started saying that let's make dua to Allah with such a dua that Allah opens up the doors, the opening. So one of the person, he made dua, oh Allah, I was in love with one of my cousins, and I was just on the verge of doing the act. And then at that moment in time, she said, fear Allah. It is the fear of Allah that stops a person. It's like a camera. Something is watching me. I will get a ticket in the akhirah if not in this world. And that the ticket of this world may only be a few dollars. The ticket of the akhirah could cost me my Jannah. So I don't want to lose my Jannah. So she said, fear Allah. At that moment in time, I left her at that moment. Oh Allah, if I did this for you, please take us out of this. And that dua, because of that action was so powerful, even the rock moved. Even the rock moved. The second incident from Tirmidhi, Kif from Bani Israel. He used to commit all the sins he could think of. He would make the most out of it. So one day, one woman who was desperately in need of financial support, she came to him. And she said, okay, please, if you can help me. She said, okay, I will give you so much money on the condition that you let me be intimate with you. So now she was in need. She had no other way to go. So she took the money and whatever she wanted to buy, she bought food, whatever she had to live. And when they were about to do the act, she started trembling. أُرْعِدَتْ وَبَكَتْ. She started crying. So now, she said, are you feeling okay? What's wrong? She said, I have never done this act, and I am doing this act as a disobedience of Allah. Because Allah is not telling us that don't do it. Allah is telling us do it in the right way. If you do it the wrong way, if you do the act of adultery the wrong way, you will lose your iman. لا يزني الزاني حين يزني وهو مؤمن من زنى أو شرب الخمر نزع الله منه الإيمان. The minute a person indulges himself in zina, iman leaves his body. So when a person is doing it the wrong way, he loses his iman. But when a person does it the right way, that each time he is doing the action, he is giving charity in the path of Allah. Sadaqah. When he is going out with an immoral woman, strange woman, or the other way around, whoever are going out, whenever they go out, Allah is getting angry on them. On the other hand, when two couples who do it the right way, halal way, they go out, Allah is getting happy at them day by day. That is why there is a narration that when a husband and wife, they smile at each other, even Allah smiles. Because they are doing it the right way. So Allah is not saying that don't enjoy, but enjoy in the right way. Enjoy the way Allah wants you to enjoy. Enjoy your life. Eat what you want to eat, but make sure it's halal. Enjoy your life. Go where you want to go, but make sure it's halal. Enjoy your life. Fulfill your desires, what you want to fulfill, but make sure Allah is happy with it. So she started trembling, and she said, this is something which I haven't done. So he felt guilty at that time. He said, oh woman, I'm not going to leave this action with you. You can take the money, and you can keep the money, you can go. That night he passed away. The next morning it was written on his door, قَدْ غَفَرَ اللَّهُ لِلْكِفْرِ. Allah has forgiven kifr. One incident. In the time of Umar radiallahu anhu, there was one youngster who every day he used to come and perform his Isha with Umar radiallahu anhu, behind Umar. And after that he used to go and meet his father. Literally we may think, but why are we talking so openly about these issues in the masjid? Like for example, our lifestyle has become such today that things that was understood or regarded to be good once upon a time, Today, due to its wrong usage, due to the abuse done to it, today it is regarded as an insult to say it inside the masjid. For example, somebody says to somebody, I love you. Masjid money, not in the masjid. What are you saying? Yet this same word in the time of the Prophet ﷺ used to be said many times in the masjid to the Prophet ﷺ. Sahaba used to come, they say, O Prophet of Allah, Wallahi inni la uhibbuk, O Prophet of Allah, I love you. And even the Prophet ﷺ said to Mu'adh, Ya Mu'adh. Mu'adh radiallahu anhu said, O Prophet of Allah, I am haram. He said, Ya Mu'adh. He said, O Prophet of Allah, please tell me what should I do. The Prophet ﷺ doesn't say anything. For the third time he says, Ya Mu'adh. He said, O Prophet of Allah, what's labbaik wa sa'adaik? He said, Ya Mu'adh, inni la uhibbuk. O Mu'adh, I love you. The Nabi of Allah is saying this to Mu'adh. Mu'adh is from among those chosen people who got this from the Nabi of Allah. Umar radiallahu anhu comes to the Masjid of Prophet of Allah, I love you. More than anything in the world except for myself. So the Prophet ﷺ said, Umar, your iman is not fulfilled till now. You need to love me even more than yourself. The love Sahaba had for Nabi Kareem ﷺ, we can never imagine loving anybody today. Today we claim, I love this person, I love that person, I've fallen in love with this person, I've fallen in love with that person. But when it comes the question of life and death, then we don't want to know the person. Say, look, they're guilty, I've got nothing to do with them, you don't need to ask me. But when the life of Nabi alayhi salam was in danger, each Sahabi was at the front, kill me, don't touch Nabi alayhi salam. They were ready to give up everything, but not a thorn pricking Nabi alayhi salam. Can you just imagine the love they had for Nabi alayhi salam? May Allah give us the true love. Every other love, every love that we fall in love with amongst the creation, those who we shouldn't be loving, will make us lose our intelligence. You know they say, he's mad in love. He's gone mad, like Majnun became Majnun. But when you fall in love with Allah, it will increase your intelligence. It will enhance your intelligence. You will become more intellect by the day. Because you are loving the right thing, for the right reason. So we have abused the word, I love you, the sentence, I love you so much, that the actual sentence has got a bad name today. And we don't like it to be said in the masjid, we don't like it to be said to the right people. One great scholar of the time, he says, I like it when my students, when my people who are connected with me, I like it when they tell me they love me, because this was a sunnah which the Sahaba used to say to the Prophet ﷺ. I like it. But today if somebody was to tell us, I love you, and if it's of the same gender, we will say, are you okay? You have to be open. Issues are open, so we need to be open. So this person used to come read his Isha behind Umar radiallahu anhu, and every day after the Isha Salah, he used to go and meet his father. Now between the house of his father and the masjid, there was a girl. Every day she used to see this young boy going. She's keeping an eye on him. And then she gets attracted to him. When we will continue to look at things we shouldn't be looking at, we will get attracted to it. That is why we should continue to look at the right things, the qudrat of Allah, so we can get attracted to Allah. Why does Allah give us, or why does Allah call those people who ponder in the creation of the heavens and the earth, that ponder over it, they are the ulul albab? Because when they will look at the creation of Allah, they will get attracted to it. When a person will continue reciting the Quran, he will get attracted to the Quran. Whatever we will love doing, and whatever we will do the most in our life, we will die doing that thing. Osman radiallahu anhu used to love reading Quran, he died reading Quran. Abdul Rahman as-Sulami says, I entered the haram with Uthman radiallahu anhu, and Uthman radiallahu anhu said, just let me finish my witr. I said, okay, 3 rakat witr, how long will it take? Maybe 5 minutes, 10 minutes. Uthman radiallahu anhu started the witr salah. In 1 rakat he finished the entire Quran. Now we may imagine that how is this possible? One part of the Quran will take me 20 minutes average. 30 juz. That's like 10 hours you're looking at. Now 10 hours with it? How is that possible? Especially if it's some of the summer months, it's not possible at all. The night is not that long. So how is it possible to finish the whole Quran in 1 salah? But sometimes when we are chatting online to the wrong people, or we are sending emails to females, then we can't even tell. I just did one message, I just logged in, and half an hour went past. Time is flying. I barely just logged in. Time is flying. When the pious slaves of Allah, when they started reciting the Quran, when they started logging in, and they started chatting with Allah, and Allah started chatting with them. Because when a person is performing salah, Imam Bukhari has quoted the chapter, Babu anna al-musalli yunaji rabbah. When a person performs salah, it may seem he's just going up, down, kiss the ground, back to town. But in reality, he's actually having a conversation with Allah. But when a person is reciting the Quran, Allah is talking to him. So when the pious people, they start having a conversation with Allah, Allah starts having a live chat with them, that the Quran is flowing, the time is flowing. That the Quran is flowing, the time is flowing. May Allah give us understanding. We haven't got the wind of that side of the coin. We don't know that word today. We claim, how is it possible? May Allah give us the reality. So Uthman radiallahu loved Quran, so he died on Quran. فَسَيَكْفِيكَهُمُ اللَّهِ. The blood is still there today. Go to the museums of Turkey, you will see the copy of the Quran he died on. Wasilat ibn Asqa' radiallahu anhu, he loved doing sajda to Allah. He died in sajda in Masjid al-Aqsa. May Allah give us death on sajda. May Allah give us death in the masjid. Whatever we will love, whatever we will do the most in our life, inshallah Allah will give us death on that thing as well. So now that woman started getting attracted to him. So one day she said, I need him today in my house. We need to spend the night together. I need to date him. So as he is walking one day, she left the door open and she's screaming, help me, help me, help me. So now there was nobody else there. So he thought maybe she wants to move something, or she did some kind of trouble, maybe I need to go and help them. So as soon as he went inside the house, she closed the door and he said, look, I've been seeing you for days, I'm attracted to you, I want you to spend the night with me today. So at that moment in time, he was in solitude with a strange woman of the... They were in solitude. Nabi Karim sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, when two strange people are in privacy, the third is shaitan. Shaitan flows in them. So we shouldn't. But at that moment in time, a flash of Quran came to his mind. Just imagine how pure these people were, that they are in solitude, they are in privacy with a woman of the opposite strange woman, and they are getting flashes of fear of Allah. Today, unfortunately, we are sitting in the masjid, we are standing in front of Allah, yet our mind is elsewhere. May Allah forgive. May Allah purify our hearts and minds. So, At that moment in time, one verse of the Quran came to his mind. إِنَّ الَّذِينَ اتَّقَوْا إِذَا مَسَّهُمْ طَائِفٌ مِّنَ الشَّيْطَانِ تَذَكَّرُوا فَإِذَا هُمْ مُبْصِرُونَ. When those people who get attracted towards the acts of shaitan, then immediately the remembrance of Allah overpowers them and they turn away from the act of shaitan. So this verse came into his mind. As soon as this verse came, he fell down unconscious. So now the girl is thinking, I'm going to get caught red-handed. What have I been up to? What are people going to say? Today we are more worried of what people will say, what others will say, but we are not worried about what Allah is looking at me or not. But Allah is so forgiving. We sin as if Allah is not watching. We sin as if Allah is not watching. Yet Allah forgives as if He hasn't seen anything. Let me repeat it. We are committing sin with such an attitude as if Allah is not watching me. Yet Allah is forgiving us in a way as if He hasn't seen anything. So immediately she managed to get him outside, and then she started telling people, I don't know what happened to him, he just fell down unconscious, can we just take him away? So they took him to his father's house. People came, they took him to his father's house, then he became conscious. His father said, oh my son, what happened? Can you tell me? So he said, this is what happened. So he said, which verse of the Quran came to your mind? So he repeated the verse, إِنَّ الَّذِينَ اتَّقَوْا إِذَا مَسَّهُمْ طَائِفٌ مِّنَ الشَّيْطَانِ تَذَكَّرُوا فَإِذَا هُمْ مُبْصِرُونَ. When those who get some attraction from shaitan, then immediately the remembrance of Allah overpowers them, then they stay away from it. As soon as he recited the verse the second time, he became unconscious and he died. Now, they did his kafan, they washed his body, they did his janazah, they buried him. They didn't tell Umar radiallahu anhu, because they knew that Umar radiallahu anhu is the Amir al-Mu'mineen. If you have to disturb him, the whole day he's busy, in the evening, let him have a bit of rest. So when the next day Umar radiallahu anhu didn't see him, he said, where is that youngster? I cannot see him. I used to see him every day. He's not here today. So the Sahaba, the other people who are there, they tell him that this is the incident, this is what happened. So he said, take me to his grave. So they take him. Umar radiallahu anhu goes to the grave of this youngster. He makes dua for him. He becomes emotional. He sheds a few tears. And then he says, Allah says in Surah Al-Rahman, وَلِمَنْ خَافَ مَقَامَ رَبِّهِ جَنَّتَانِ. O youngster, you died out of the fear of Allah. Allah says, the one who fears Allah, Allah will not only give him one Jannah, Allah will give him two Jannah. Jannatan, two Jannah for him. Double reward. So a voice came from inside the grave, which everybody that was standing there heard. قَدْ أَعْطَانِيَ اللَّهُ ذَلِكَ يَا عُمَرْ. Oh Umar, you are just telling me about it. Allah has already given me both the Jannah. Everybody around there heard the voice. Allah has already given me both the Jannah. Now, whether the people inside the grave can hear or not, that's another issue. Sima' al-Mawta. Somebody came to Ataullah Shah Bukhari rahimahullah and he said, what do you think? Can the people inside the grave, can they hear or not? There's differences of opinion. You get some ulama who say, إِنَّكَ لَا تُسْمِعُ الْمَوْتَى, they cannot hear. Then they say, when the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, when he threw the people who were killed in Badr down the well, then he said, did you get هَلْ وَجَدْتُمْ مَا وَعَدَ رَبُّكُمْ حَقًّا? So the Sahaba, they said, oh Prophet of Allah, they are dead, can they hear? He said, yes, they can hear. So there are two opinions. So Shah Ataullah Bukhari rahimahullah says, we are living in a time, never mind the dead listening, even the living are not listening. Never mind the dead listening, even the living are not listening today. May Allah give us understanding. So we are living in a time of immorality. We are living in a time of nudity, where Being naked has become the fashion. The more naked you are, the more progressive you are. The less clothes you wear, the more up to date you are. The more body parts you show, the more fashionable you are. I always like to say, if being nude, if being without clothing was an act of fashion, then animals are the most fashionable. Because they never wear clothes. Who has seen an animal wear clothes? This coat was made specially for the cats. Or this jumper was made specially for the dogs. They are the most fashionable. Dressing morally, modestly, with haya is a sign of not only being a Muslim, it's a sign that you are human. It's a sign of being a human. May Allah make us human. May Allah make us true Muslims. It is an age where it became difficult to safeguard our iman. But we need to stick to the fear of Allah. We need to stick to dua. We need to turn to Allah every time when we have the urge to commit any sin. Just turn to Allah. Just ask Allah, Allahumma inni a'udhu bika min hadha su. Oh Allah, save me from this evil. Save me from this sin. If you are sincere in your dua, that the way Allah turned evil away from Yusuf alayhi salam, Allah will turn that evil away from you. And this is the best prescription. If a person wants to save himself from any wrong, any sin, he just needs to turn to Allah and Allah will turn it away from him. Many people, they get evil habits in their life. They cannot leave pornography, for example. They cannot leave surfing these immoral sites. They cannot leave doing immoral actions. The best prescription is when you intend to do that thing, just turn to Allah. Oh Allah, please save me from this. By Allah, Allah and Allah alone will save you from that thing. Because when Yusuf alayhi salam was at that moment in time, in solitude, he said, Ma'ad Allah. He turned to Allah. And Allah turned it away from him. So we need to inculcate the fear of Allah. We need to turn to Allah. We need to ask ourselves, do I want to lose my Jannah because of this few seconds of pleasure? Do I want to lose my Jannah because of these few moments of enjoyment? The enjoyment of this world is very temporary. The enjoyment of Jannah is permanent. The love of this world is very temporary. The beauty of this world is very temporary. 30 years, 40 years, maximum. Then they don't even want to look at each other. The black hair becomes white hair. The skin becomes wrinkled. The teeth are not there anymore. Those who couldn't live without each other 20 years ago, now 30 years down the line, they don't even want to see each other. But the beauty of Allah, unlimited. The beauty of this world, limited to 20 years, 30 years. The beauty of Allah, unlimited. The enjoyment of this world, limited. The enjoyment of Jannah, unlimited. The pleasure of this world, limited. The pleasure of Jannah, unlimited. Let's ask ourselves, do I want to give up the unlimited enjoyment for limited enjoyment? If anybody will do that, what name will you give him besides being a fool? May Allah first of all save me from haram. Very difficult. Abu Hurairah radiallahu anhu, during the latter part of his life, he used to actually make dua, Allahumma inni a'udhu bika min al-azni. Oh Allah, save me from zina. Now, the people shocked you. You stayed so many years with the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. You are narrating the most hadith from the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam among all the other Sahaba. You've got so many students who will be taking your hadith to many thousands, and you are making this dua. He said, how can I be content about myself when Shaitan is always after me? be content that I am pure from sins? How can I ever be content that Shaitan is not going to leave me? Shaitan is working his hard after me. Shall I not be making dua to Allah to safeguard me against him? We need to make these same du'as, which Sahaba used to make during the latter part of their life. And it is normal. The further we move away from the life, from the time, from the era of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the harder the challenges will get. The harder it will get. Hakim Tirmidhi rahimahullah, before I finish, just leave you with the incident. Hakim Tirmidhi rahimahullah, Allah had given him a lot of beauty, and he was also a Hakim, he was also a physician. Patients used to come to get treated by him, and because he was very beautiful, some people used to actually just come to look at his beauty. They used to actually just make an appointment just to look at him. Even the women of the time used to just make appointment. There was nothing wrong with them. They used to just come and look at his beauty. Then when he used to find out, he used to just chase them away. Please take me away from this haram. Get up from here. If you want to be treated, then come. If you don't want to be treated, then you shouldn't be making these appointments. Otherwise, these appointments is heading us towards Jahannam. These dates is heading us towards Jahannam. So one day one woman came and she continued waiting until everybody left the clinic. There was nobody there, and he was about to close everything. She said, is there any way we can help you, or if you could come some other time? We are about to close now. She said, look, I have been coming just to look at you, and now I am attracted to you. Can you just fulfill my desires? She said, Astaghfirullah, and chased them away. Now 40 years later, when he became old, one day he was making wudu. And then the thought came to his mind, when I was young at that time, I had the looks, I had the strength, and that woman came, and she also had the looks, and she was asking me about it. I could have just fulfilled her needs, and then I could have just made tawbah to Allah, and Allah would have forgiven me. Allah is the most forgiving, Allah is the most merciful. So now this thought is coming to his mind. Now he's become old, now he's lost the looks, his hair has become black, white. So now he's getting very depressed that why is this thought coming to my mind repeatedly? Why is this thought coming to my mind? That time Allah saved me. But why is Shaitan putting this thought again and again into my mind? So one day he was very annoyed, he was making lots of dua, and he was saying, why is this coming to my mind? And he fell asleep and he saw Nabi Kareem sallallahu alayhi wa sallam in his dream. And he said, O Prophet of Allah, why is this happening to me? So the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, O Hakim, that time was 40 years closer to my time. Now you are 40 years further away from my time. So now the challenges are greater for you. So this is normal. But as the challenges get greater, we need to make our iman stronger. That is why these programs are held. As the disease spreads, we need to make our immune system strong, so that we don't catch the disease. The diseases will get greater by the day out there. But is my iman, is my immune system, spiritual immune system, so strong that I won't catch it? I need to build on it. That is why we get these gatherings. So we can boost our immune system, spiritual immune, so that we don't catch those diseases, because of which we don't lose our iman. May Allah first of all give me the ability to save away from every haram. May Allah save us from haram looking, haram thinking, haram dating, haram activities. May Allah save us from every type of haram. And may Allah give us the enjoyment in halal. May Allah give us the enjoyment